Hey there everybody, my name is Matt, and today I'm going to be showcasing some of the more advanced features of T3 code. Now, if you're not familiar with what T3 code is, essentially it's an agent harness for your harnesses. And it was built by a famous YouTuber who I'm sure that you guys all know, Theo Brown. And what this tool essentially does is it allows you to actually leverage multi-agents. It allows you to use agents in different environments, and it's just all like one complete package in terms of actually working with agents. I believe that this is a very opinionated view on how you should be working with agents and how agents are kind of like advancing in the modern era. Like for me, I thought that obviously like CLIs are very cool. I love using the terminal. It was a lot of fun, but there are so many ways that we can enhance that experience and make it better for developers. And this experience, T3 code right now, is honestly just the best way to code with agents in my opinion. The main focus of this video is going to be showcasing the main features of T3 code, the way that I use it, and some advanced things that you might not have known of. The first thing I want to say is that this is an open source tool, so if you want to actually contribute, try making it better, fork it, and make your own version, you are completely free to do that. Go ahead and take a look at the GitHub repository put in the link down below and give it a shot. So the first thing I kind of want to showcase here is kind of the opinionated view of what T3 code is. Right now I have it up on my screen over here, and just from the get-go, I want you to see a couple of things. The first thing is this toolbar over here. I guess you can call it a toolbar, but essentially the way in which this entire tool organizes conversations is much different compared to how a tool like Codex or Claude Code organizes conversation. So usually whenever you're using a coding agent tool like Codex or Claude Code, you'll have this setup where everything is set up by folders, right? You have a folder, that's where you have all your conversations inside of. You work over here and you communicate with all of them and you archive them as you go along. This experience to me was a little bit frustrating because per every folder that you would have to like balance and juggle a lot of things in your head, right? So like let's say I was working in this T3 code script folder and I also had something for Beach House and Doxhound, and I also had something running here. It would be super difficult for me to manage all of these, and then once I was done, even after archiving it, right, it would just kind of like stay here and hang out even though I didn't really need the folder. Then, about a week ago, Theo and the team released this really great beta feature, which is Sidebar V2, which I believe is the way that most coding agents are going to be working from now on. It takes more of a thread-based approach and almost like a Discord-based approach when you are actually communicating with your agents. So instead of it being like per folder, you just have conversations that you settle, and then they just go down and go to that settle part right over here. So I love this experience because it makes it so much easier to manage the work that I'm doing concurrently. I usually have like 5 or 6 conversations going on over here, and it's super easy for me to jump back and forth between everything without having to feel like my brain is being put into like a million different places at once. I mean, gosh, there are so many things I could talk about with T3 code. The main thing I also want to say is that, again, this version of T3 code that I'm using is the nightly build. As you can see over here, I am using a version that is continuously being upgraded every day, every week. This is open source software, so it's improving as it goes along. If you want a more hardened experience and something that doesn't change as much and doesn't have all these new fancy ideas, I think the regular default version works just as well. But for me, I'm like really passionate about trying new things, figuring out new tools, and I really believe that like this is the best way to do it. So kind of jumping back and getting off of that tangent with the sidebar, which I think is one of the best features of T3 code, I want to talk a lot about the quality of life features that T3 code has that not a lot of other tools have. So like the main thing that you'll see first is, yes, this does look a lot like Codex in the way that it kind of approaches working with agents. You have this chat bar over here, you have this thing like what should we build and blah, 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 and then you can pick the agent and everything like that. So the main thing that I want to showcase here that's a little bit different is that like there are so many shortcuts. Like as you can see here, I'm holding the command button. I can switch between conversations, jump back and forth between things. And if I want to go back to this new conversation, I can also do something like, hey, I want to build this XYZ. You can do Command S. You can stash your conversations and stash the prompts whenever you're having building something that you need. And there's also these great, like, see, just built-in terminal over here. And then you can open surfaces over here where you can access browser, another terminal. You can access files in the workspace. As you can see over here, this is my Raspberry Pi project that I have set up right over here. And yeah, there's just so many things that are just packed within this piece of software. I really truly believe, again, this is one of the best experiences you can have with running agents. And I'm sorry for glazing over here, but it's been a ton of fun actually working with the software, being involved with it, and just, actually seeing it evolve and grow. I also think that, in terms of the way that repositories are actually set up and the way that you're able to not only commit code, push code, and create PRs all within one place, it is so easy to actually just fly and create all of these different PRs, just do so much work with this tool. And I haven't even gotten to some of these features over here. I haven't built my own actions or anything like that. This is literally an entirely different tool that I've never used before. But in general, again, there is just so much here for you to test out and try. So what I want to do today is also show you one of the more advanced features and why I'm so stoked and so hyped about T3 Code in general. It's this idea of connecting all of your agents to all your devices and having them all be working at the same time. Now, what if I told you my laptop over here isn't the only place that I have T3 Code running? I have T3 Code running here on a server somewhere on some server rack that Hostinger is hosting, and I also have it running on my phone. That, to me, is pretty insane. One interconnected experience that I can run agents in between everything, and I don't only have to run, GPT models or Opus models. This can literally run any model that I choose. So full disclosure here, I work for a company that has a gateway, so I get tokens and credits to use all these different models like Muse Spark and what else, like Kimi K3 and things like that. And for me, just being able to actually input this into my current setup and also have all my agents just route and run as if it was like I was using Codex or using OpenCode is just a great experience as well. Again, there are so many things that I could talk about here. I could make literally an entire series on just setting these things up, but I don't think it's worth it because things are also always changing at all times. So speaking more on that point of cloud agents, right? You could run all these different harnesses, all these different agents in all these different places, but the crazy thing about it is just how easy it is to actually get everything hooked up, right? So this server 813.613, whatever, this is my VPS that I have hosted by Hostinger. I'm going to go into my settings over here and showcase, look, I have so many other remote environments set up over here. I have this desktop, I have a MacBook Air, a MacBook Pro. I can connect to any one of them and just work in between them, pull from one. Let's say I have footage on one that I need to edit and I need to bring it onto this machine. Anything that you can do in between all of your agents just works, and you can not only run it through T3 Code, but if you open up a command line over here and you run npx T3, I think it is, just let it work for a little bit. You can also run it straight in your browser, and it automatically works just the same, which again is insane how interconnected everything can be. Now imagine this, right? You have multiple agents running all at the same time on different machines. You have your phone running agents, you have your computer running agents, and you just feel okay, maybe this tool is actually just a little bit overwhelming. I feel like it's getting too much, or I can't do it, right? Well, you can also just jump straight back to using Claude in the terminal or something like that right here. The options are kind of endless. It's literally, again, the best experience that you can ever have when working with and running agents on your machine. And now I really want to next highlight what the experience of actually developing with this tool is, how it feels to actually create changes and do something with this agent. And what I'm going to showcase to you guys is, hopefully I don't break it. So I have a Raspberry Pi over here that has a screen connected to it that I am trying to be very delicate with because it is glass. As you can see over here, without the reflection, I am currently building a Raspberry Pi that contains all of the different buses and things like that. I just realized I'm doxing myself with this. Let me So I can't show what I'm building right now because I just realized that I would be doxing myself. But I'm essentially building a bus tracker that allows me to see when the next bus is going to be coming and gives me a notification not only on this but on my phone when a bus is going to be there. You might be saying, why don't you just use the transit app that your city provides? Well, I don't like the app that they have, and that's, I guess, my own problem. What are you going to do? So I'm going to actually make some updates to this app right now. I'm going to showcase how I use an agent in T3 code in order to do this. One thing I want you to remember as well is that I am actually not coding on this machine right over here. I am actually coding on that VPS through the T3, what is it, Connect? Yeah, T3 Connect tool over here. So yeah, this environment is available to other devices through T3 Connect. That means that, I can also use Tailscale. There's a bunch of different ways to connect your agents, but I'm using, again, the T3 codes version of how to do that. So if you want to try that out, give that a shot. So again, yeah, I am making this display that helps me figure out where and when my buses are coming. And now I want to improve it by also adding some quotes of the day and some inspirational images at the bottom. So I'm going to say something like, I want to upgrade my current setup and my current display by having an inspirational quote appear at the bottom of the page. I want to make sure that it doesn't break anything, and I also want to remove the stop that is at the top of the screen over here. I do not need to see my address being plastered on the display. Okay, so I'm giving my agent full access. Obviously, there's like a bunch of different things that you can do to figure out, what your agent can and cannot do. There's a plan mode, which I do not use. You can select the reasoning levels and the service tier. I'm gonna actually put that on fast. And then I'm just gonna send the agent off and we'll see what it does. So as you can see here, I have the agent working at the same time. Why don't we just kick off another job over here as well? Something like Doxhound. Say, hey, I want to update the README for this open source tool that I have called Doxhound. This is just context for you guys. I want to tell this to an agent. In order to do that, I need you to look at the current configuration and update the README with the proper graphs and the proper way that this code base is set up. Okay, so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to select Claude Opus 5, and I'm also going to say, do not make any pushes before I confirm with you. And then, I'll also, why not just grab a random conversation here on my machine. I'll select, let's say, add a project, let's say in this environment, and a new folder, which is also great. Let's call this GitHub. Create an ad. I want to link my YouTube channel on my GitHub README. Can you go out and autonomously do that for me and make sure it looks very nicely formatted? Okay, so now we kicked off a ton of agents. They're all working in different jobs over here. Let's check on how Busby is doing. As you can see here, Busby actually pops up. Again, I am doxing myself. Shit. Okay, so all right, so as you can see there, Busby actually did, so one cool feature of, so again, when you're working with this T3 code tool, one cool feature that it has is that preview window. I did have to close it out because I would be doxing myself if I showed exactly where that was. Over here, you can see all of the different, informations and files that is like changing. I'm not going to open that link because that's where it's being displayed right now. You can see the entire architecture of the app. And again, you can pull up this preview window that allows you to see exactly what's going on. Why is that popping up? Okay, so again, you have different jobs running over here. We can see okay, an agent's actually going out and exploring the code base. You can actually see beautifully all these different tool calls, how it's working, what it's doing, and it's all just really nice. So I was able to actually pull up my YouTube, Matt Farrow's How AI Works. Be sure to subscribe if you like the content. I really appreciate it. And now, yeah, it's going out to actually update and create the README for me. So yeah, I think that's a pretty high level overview of exactly what's going on with Busby. As you can see here, on the bottom screen over here, I'm actually running only this job on my server over here. I am running these 2 jobs actually on my own Mac machine over here. There is just so many things that you can do. I really think that this is kind of the future on how people are going to be working with agents and just using tools in general. I really think that, like, if you are interested in this tool, go out and try it right now. Try getting it downloaded on your phone. Okay, so great. It looks like my job actually finished running. I'm going to say now push my changes to my Raspberry Pi. And my Raspberry Pi is also connected to my network, so it'll get all these changes right over here. And yeah, essentially just knowing that I can actually work with these agents and have everything just be connected all at once is the best feeling ever. Right now you can see over here, my GitHub actually changed a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. Hi, I'm Matt Feroz. Here's my websites. Here's my email. I'm probably going to have to take that down. And yeah, what I build with, all this stuff. So again, it's a great tool. You can use open code inside of it. You can use, I think, Grok inside of it. They have like some XAI connectors and things like that. I think really in general, just get your hands on this tool because I really believe it's going to be the future of how we work with agents in general. And with that, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you learned something, and if you want to try out this tool, be sure to either ask me questions about it or go out directly and ask Theo questions about it in his YouTube channel as well. All right, thanks. Peace.